call this Board of Trustees meeting to order for February 23rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. Could we all please stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Lucero, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Bartholomew.
Here.
Edwards.
Here.
Fowler. Kerr.
Here.
Parker.
Present.
Shelley Rosso.
Here.
President Poznanski.
Here. Okay, moving on to our agenda. Do we have an approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
We have a motion by Edwards, support by Bartholomew. Do we have any discussion?
Would you guys mind adding just a quick discussion on the generator for the PD?
Under unfinished business, D.
Okay, do our motion and our second still stand?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. All in favor of the agenda with the addition of unfinished D, generator discussion? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have none opposed. We have an agenda. Okay, moving into our approval of the minutes, we do have quite a few. So let's do them separately. We have our January 26th with our public hearing notice. I did catch one typo. We discussed it with Clerk Lucero already. Under our budget amendments, there was a double of a trustee with one left off, so we did have one correction there. Anybody else?
And this one specifically?
No, the whole, that's the public hearing and then the minutes all together for the 26th.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them has the public hearing notice, and then the other one is the actual public hearing minutes. Like,
What page was the correction on? I'm sorry.
7?
7, it was 7F at the top of your page. I transposed care twice
Oh,
instead of adding Rosso, so that's been fixed on the, I've amended that with what I have in my system, so once it's passed, it'll go up as amended.
If there's nothing else, do I have a motion to approve the minutes with that one correction for January 26th?
Motion.
Support?
I have a motion by Bartholomew. Hold on, let me get in the right spot. Support by Parker. Any further discussion for January 26th? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There were none opposed. Moving into February 4th special. This was the special that I had called with the Bruce Fire.
I have.
You don't
Wait
have
till
any
there-
more?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I was gonna say I have a correction, but you wanna wait till there's a motion?
Oh, no. I thought you were gonna tell me you didn't have, get them in here. Or do we have a motion to approve February 4th?
I'll make a motion to approve the February 4th special meeting minutes.
We have a motion by Edwards,
Support.
support by Bartholomew. Do you have discussion?
On number 2, approval of agenda, there were 6 present, and it says motion passed 7-0. So it should be just corrected to 6-0.
Got it.
Okay. Is there a motion in our second stand?
Yes.
Okay, all in
Yep.
favor of February 4th with the one correction? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have none opposed. And moving into our February 10th pre-budget special meeting, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of February 10th, 2026.
Support. Oh, go ahead, Shelley.
James?
Who's it?
Shelley.
I'll take
Okay.
it.
We have a motion by Edwards, support by Rousseau. Any edits? Hearing none, all in favor of February 10th as presented?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none opposed. Okay, moving into our council bills. We do have bills in the amount of $86,090.72 and $340,240.61. Do we have a motion to approve the bills?
Motion to approve the bills?
Support?
Motion by Bartholomew, support by Edwards. Do we have any discussion? With no discussion, Clerk Lucero, could you please call the roll?
Rosso?
No.
Care?
Yes.
Fowler?
No.
Edwards?
Yes.
Bartholomew?
Yes.
Parker?
No.
President Wozniacki?
Yes. At the end of the bills, you will see our interest earnings to date are just under $870,000. A report from the treasurer. Moving into our special presentations, we have the DDA.
Good evening, everyone.
Can you turn it on?
Hit the
Sorry.
button.
How's that? Can you hear me now? Okay, good evening, everyone. Kathy Oswald here for the DDA. I'm going to give you a quick update, I promise. First off, we're going to start off with our conference and advocacy day. Our executive director and I are heading for Lansing next week for the MDA Mid-Year Conference and Advocacy Day. We'll be sharing what's coming up in Romeo, talking about ways the state can help support our projects, and soaking up as much information as we can with our coffee in hand, of course. We're especially excited about sessions focused on historic downtowns and learning about resources that we can bring back and actually use here in Romeo. We're still hard at work on grants for the Wayfinding project, and we'll be submitting not one, but 2 AARP applications this coming week. We've got a funding strategy in place, and we are working toward final approval of designs and project scope by April. So yes, lots of details, lots of moving parts, but good progress. Mark your calendars for March 25th at the Masonic Lodge Town Hall meeting. Invitations will be going out this week. Giffords Webster will be there to present conceptual designs for the multi-module streetscape project and answer questions. Come see the ideas, ask questions, and help us picture what's next for the downtown.
What time is that?
That is the time, I'm not sure, do we have that yet?
Invitation's 5:30.
Invitation 5:30.
General public 6 o'clock.
In general, okay, in general public, 6 o'clock, okay? Giffords Webster will be there to present the conceptual designs with that. Okay, our marketing update. If you haven't seen our newest marketing campaign video, Fall in Love in Romeo, check it out on the Downtown Romeo Facebook page. It did amazing. Over 30,000 views, 4,000 engagements, which means likes, shares, and comments. A few people even said that they sent it to the Hallmark Channel. So if Romeo ends up in a Christmas movie, just remember, you heard it here first. This is exactly the kind of positive, creative promotion that we want for Romeo. And it's exciting to see it connecting with so many people. We're already working on the next one, so stay tuned. We're not done yet. Have a great evening, everyone, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, I did have one correspondence. It was sent last month for January. I had missed it, so here we go. It is from Debi Martone. She's the chair of the cemetery board. She says, during public comment at the January 22nd, 2026 meeting, the Village of Romeo Cemetery Board heard from Anthony Kowalczyk on behalf of the Romeo Historical Society. He and Mitchell Foster, cemetery sexton, have been discussing the possibility of holding a historical tour of the cemetery this coming summer. A similar tour was very informative and successful in past years. If the event takes place, we are hoping to unveil the new cemetery mapping system to the public at that time. We will also use that opportunity to highlight the cemetery's scarlet oak tree that was added to the Michigan Botanical Society's Big Tree Registry in 2025. According to their website, the registry stands as a record of grand examples of historically, spiritually, and personally important trees. We will be placing a marker on that tree for posterity and protection. We do not know who submitted the tree for this honor and are hoping to properly thank that person when we unveil the plaque. I would also like to thank Sexton Foster and Estate Lawn and Landscape for keeping the cemetery roads and sidewalks clear and salted. That was the correspondence for this month. We are into public comment. You have 3 minutes at the podium if anyone would like to give a public comment. Everybody's just jumping and running. Okay, I guess we will move past public comments into officer reports. Guess we can start at the table. Trustee Bartholomew, do you have anything?
Nothing at this time?
Trustee Edwards?
No, I don't have anything.
Trustee Parker?
You can go over the planning stuff real quick. I was not at the meeting. I did watch it back and talked with Chair Fowler. Took a look at the PILOP ordinance, which we'll talk about here shortly. It's on our agenda. They reviewed the ordinances. We had the issue with the overlapping or different ordinances depending where you went. They decided to go with the online version for, I think it was your recommendation, right?
Okay. But they didn't give a motion to send it back to the table, as far as I
Because they
understand.
determined that there should be probably a public hearing
Okay, so
for
we're gonna
that,
do
so I
that.
think they're gonna schedule a public hearing.
March?
I think the plan was to do it in March.
Okay.
Again, I wasn't there. I think that was conversations with Sarah and Janice to get
Okay.
that.
As long as we're still moving forward there.
Yeah, definitely. Schaefer Building had something on there, he pulled it, needed more information, and, they did make, the final changes to the short-term rental, per the request of this board, and sent that back also, and I'm not sure
I did not get that.
you didn't get that
All
one.
I got was the pilot. That's why it's on here. Or the fence. Fence and pilot.
Yep, and then the fence.
Well, I guess that was,
That was before.
From last
but
meeting.
that's back here. Okay. That's all I got.
okay. Trustee Rosso? No. Trustee Care?
Yeah, I mean, it was already like a month ago, but in late January, we had the parking joint task force. We engaged in some really good discussion to help identify maybe some parking issues that we could see in the DDA. And just basic discussion of potential avenues that we could explore. It was really productive. We had 7 out of the 11 members attend, and it went well. Our next meeting is Wednesday, the 25th, 2 days from now. I'm unable to attend. I just spoke with Kay a minute ago. And the meeting will go on just as scheduled, and we'll go over the details afterwards. Following our special and budget meetings, I was able to sit down with the police chief. He requested to this board, anyone to come speak with him about some of the numbers and just view the documentation that he had. So I sat down with him and we had some productive discussion. And we're hoping to work with, Bruce FD and the county to try to figure out any issues that there may be. Still working through MICS at Champions. It's really cool, kind of networking with a lot of other people, similar situations around us, so that's pretty cool. And just last thing is my meeting pay for this month was donated to Turning Point Macomb.
Trustee Fowler?
Nothing at this time.
Nothing. Okay. Chief?
Okay. Evening, everybody. First, I want to talk about a couple of incidents that happened this past month in the village of Romeo. And the reason I bring these up, and maybe I'll make a concerted effort of bringing these things to your attention in the future, and it's to point out again, once again, that there's no walls built around Romeo, and that our officers encounter these kinds of things as well. First would be one of the complexes inside the village. We received a 911 call of a fight, a large fight. It involved about 8 people, with a female on the phone yelling, "He's got a gun, he's got a gun." Officers from Romeo PD burned the rubber off their tires to get to that complex and quell that incident. One person was taken into custody and charged with a felony. Second incident was a drunken disorderly individual at the Main Street bar that they called and reported. Officers responded to that quickly, and upon making contact with this person, he fought aggressively. He was taken into custody by a number of officers it took to get him under control. He tried to kick the back window of the police car out. That individual was charged with 2 felonies and a misdemeanor. So again, these things happen here too. Also, something that we've introduced this month are these new door placards for ordinance warnings. This is, Officer Dave's actually had this idea. It was a great idea. This allows officers with Romeo to put these on residence doors even after hours where they can't necessarily knock on the door and wake them up over their driveway not being plowed or their sidewalk not being plowed, or any ordinance really. This notifies them. In concert with that, all officers have been directed to, when they provide a warning, either in person, if it's during the day and they're able to make contact with the resident, great. But if it's putting these violations, notices on their door, to pull an incident number, a clemency number, document what the ordinance is, whom they spoke to, if anybody, and the time period they've been given to rectify the ordinance violation. Hopefully, this resolves some of the complaints that I know the village gets, that I get from residents. We don't have to keep responding to these things over and over and over again without knowing that they've already been warned, and calls have already been made, and people have already been to their house to address the issue. Residents get frustrated with that. So, and to the residents in the room, and maybe watch it on TV, clearly state, we do not want to enforce ordinances. We don't want to write people tickets. That will be a last resort. That's entirely on the public. We just want some compliance with the local ordinances. And I know that your neighbors and other residents would like that as well, because we get a number of calls, and I know the village does as well. And lastly, I wanted to talk about the numbers that we had this emergency meeting about. And let's begin by dispelling some of the accusations that were made at the special meeting about somehow our numbers being less accurate than context because we're keeping them manually. First of all, the first 2 numbers on this spreadsheet are time-stamped by the phone system and the computer. The other 2 are kept manually. But keep in mind that contact manually types in the data, and they manually have to hit the enter button to send it on to the next level. So a human being still has to do that. And that's no different than our dispatchers listening to the radio and writing down the time when they hear it. I also want to publicly state again, and I do every time this comes up, this isn't anybody's fault. It's not our fault. It's not Comtech's fault. The fire department's here tonight. Well, they were. I'm sure they're making giving it every effort that they have. This is simply because steps have been added to the process, and I've always called it a step has been added to the process, but really the reality is 2 steps have been added to the process when you really analyze it. We get the call, then we have to contact in, and then that call taker has to send it off to a dispatcher before it's finally dispatched to the fire department. So it's now a 3-step process. A couple of you came in and met with me, so you probably have a better understanding of these. But I'll just quickly explain. These are super simple. They really are. Where the hand is first pointing, that first column, and this is 292 runs. So it's a fairly large base of information. but I'll just explain the bottom line. First time that it's pointing at is the time the call comes into 911. Moving over to the second time. That's the time that our dispatch would conference in Comtech. Get them on the phone, Comtech is listening in. Third time is when Comtech actually puts the fire department on the road. And this last time here finally is when the fire department calls on scene. This column in green, all the way up. This is an average down here, but I have the response time of every single run that we took note of. And you'll see, just look up a little, 7 minutes, 8.38, 8.8, 7.297, and the last one here that we've been talking about, 6.4. Prior to this process being put in place in the conferencing in Comtech, the Bruce Romeo Fire Department had a response time to the village, just to the village, of 6 minutes. Since this transition, that response time has elevated to 7.7 minutes. The second column is using those same numbers, but it's determining the call processing time of both dispatch centers. So here would be the time the call comes into 911, and here would be the time that Comtech is conferenced into the call. In the past, that would be the time that our dispatch pushes the button and tones the fire department out. We wouldn't have had to have conferenced in Comtech. In this one particular instance, that was 32 seconds, you can see. Next column over here is what time Comtech comes over the radio and puts the fire department on the road. This column is the addition to the dispatch service. So by that I mean the time between when we would normally put the fire department on the road and the time that Comtech puts the fire department on the road. So in that particular run, it was 2.1 minutes before Comtech put the fire department on the road. The average is, ironically enough, 2.1 minutes. That whole column. Some less, some more. This is all just an average. But they've added, on average, 2.1 minutes to the response time. These two columns here, this 1.2 minutes is the Romeo PD's call processing time. That's how quickly, on average, we would be putting the fire department on the road. This line here, Mr. Edwards, I think this is what you might have been confused about in the emergency meeting that we had. You kept responding, talk about 3.5 minutes. That's a combination of both. We now have two dispatch agencies involved, and we have to add both of their call processing times before the fire department's put on the road. And on average, it's 3.4 minutes. That's probably what you were referring to. At that meeting, a new thing was mentioned that I hadn't heard before about this national average of 8 minutes that the fire department aims for. So I added that blue column for every single run and then averaged it out. I took out the 2.1 minutes that is added to the total response time with the involvement of Comtech, and I subtracted it from every single one of those total response times. And you can see all of them, as high as that page goes anyway. The average response time shrunk to 5.6 minutes. Only 5% of the time did the fire department miss that 8-minute mark, that goal. Since the addition of the Comtech being conferenced in, they missed that mark 35% of the time. So the fire chief did stand up here that night and say they hit that mark, always have, always will. Since this time period, and it's 7 months worth of data, they've missed that mark 35% of the time. Are there any questions? No?
Not yet. I'll get in touch with you.
Okay.
I have some that I'm pondering.
A couple of you came in and sat down with me. I appreciate your attention in the matter. Again, I'm not blaming anybody. This is not about blame. And the fire department has gone with Comtech for their contract, and that ship sailed. I'm not arguing that. I'm just simply stating that there is an addition to the response time to the residents of Romeo.
And at the end of the day, to me, even if we were hitting that 8-minute marker under every single time. That is great. However, considering we were doing even better, we were getting faster response times until now, that to me is not okay either, that it's taking longer. Hopefully, we can get together and figure it out.
Chief, I do got a question. So me and Chief did meet, and I got to experience a call come in at dispatch. It seemed to go pretty seamlessly. I do see where there is some increase in time. The concern, and it came to me after the conversation we had and then with the dispatch. The chart, I respect, but admittedly, we have been taking calls and then recording them and then picking up the phone and calling Macomb County. So is there a way to separate those runs and those call times on the chart?
I thought it was explained to you yesterday by Scott that rarely happens. Almost always are they are there.
He explained that almost on every non-urgent
Right, but he
call,
showed,
that's
but
what
he-
they're
but he
doing.
also showed you how that works, and it does not add anything to the time.
He showed it, but we don't have the data, right? So if we could see that broken out, because, like I said, the stuff that we got from the county, or through Bruce, shows that the majority of the calls are they're picking up the phone and calling it in. Out of the 173 on the one report, I think it was, there was only 20 that the conference button was pushed. So, you most likely, I mean, could be correct, what he was saying in the process, if it's not adding any time, but I'd just like to see those numbers broke out from the difference in those calls, because if we're taking averages, and that's what we're basing it on, and if it's proven that the conference button is quicker, or the picking up the phone is quicker, then maybe we need to adjust that
Did you not
process.
see both things in action yesterday? And one didn't take more time than the other?
No, we did not. Only one call came in when I was sitting there.
Okay.
The one call that he did conference,
Well,
and I could see where there was some additional time added on that. I'm not denying that at all after witnessing it.
So maybe we have to go to a system where we conference in or use the hot button on everything. They were trying to be responsible with that hot button. Is that hot button, let me finish,
Yeah.
dials 911 at contact, and not every call. As a matter of fact, the majority of calls that come in, even medical calls, the ones he explained to you, the majority of our calls are from the nursing homes.
Yeah.
And unless there's an absolute emergency, something that is life and death critical, that's actively happening, where they have to give EMDs, they dial that contact and dispatch it from, instead of dialing 911 and taking
Yeah.
up one of their 911 lines for something that
I
It
can
doesn't
respect
require
that,
it.
but if we're factoring those in then for the average time to dispatch and response, that's gonna change that average.
I don't think it is, but if you want me to change that process and conference them.
Just to see
Hold
the
on,
numbers.
conference them every single time, instruct our people out, conference them every single time on 911, even for non-emergencies, we'll do that, and I think you'll see the numbers will not change.
I'm not saying we should. The numbers might show that it's faster. I don't know because I don't see the numbers, right? On that call that we witnessed, from the time we took it, when we watched it back on the tape or the recording, it was just under 2 minutes till the time of dispatch. But then you're saying our call processing time is about 1.5 minutes to 1:40, I think is what it showed.
And that one
And then you're
was-
saying contact
That
was
that
2
one,
to
our
3.
call processing time on that one was in the area of 30 seconds. You watched
On
it.
that one, but on your chart, you're saying our average call time to process was like
1.2.
1.2, and then theirs was an additional time. So if we're waiting then to call them and adding those two times together, to me, that would make sense why the averages look higher if we're not conferencing. Because if they're on average, if everything was under 2 minutes, dispatch with the conference button. Again, I don't have the numbers broken apart, so it's hard to determine which ones, how the average would work.
Okay.
If we're able to break those apart and see those numbers, But like I said, admittedly, there was added time when we sat down and watched that call come in.
And if I heard you correctly, is it because it took Comtech time to pick up? Like, was that one
Answered the
conference
call.
through?
That varies.
What's the nature of your emergency? Second we knew Bruce was needed, he hit that button. And it took them, I was probably about 15, 18 seconds to pick up from there.
And that varies as well. That
Yeah.
varies, and again, not their fault. I'm sure if they had somebody waiting, staring at the phone and was at the ready, they would pick it up right away. But they're a big organization with many agencies that they service. Sometimes it takes 35, 45 seconds. Sometimes it goes to an automatic recorder saying, stand by, you're next in the queue.
Yeah.
So that happens, it varies, depending on how busy they are.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of variables.
And also, that average, sometimes our call processing time is a little bit higher than that, admittedly so. It's all dependent upon the individual call. There is no
Yeah.
cookie cutter way to handle this.
Yeah.
I know it was suggested before, hey, if you just conference in and that, just following that protocol, that's just not true and that's not real life. Our folks, you saw one that worked absolutely seamlessly,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes they get people on the phone that they're trying to get their name, their phone number, their address, the basic information they have to get, and the person won't get it to them. Maybe they're angry. Why are you asking them all these questions? Maybe they're confused. Maybe they're not able to. All these things come into play, and they affect that average.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that our average is 1.2 minutes, and that one particular last line I was showing you was the most recent. That fire department would have been put on the road in 32 seconds.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
These are super sensitive tonight. Okay, I do have a few things here. One thing I ran into tonight, Main Street is having a trivia, hosted with the Romeo Historical Society, so it's Romeo History Trivia. On March 27th, it's from 7 to 9. It is free, but you do need to sign up. There's a QR code. They have a bunch at Main Street, obviously. So sign up if you want to reserve your spot, because obviously we all know the limited seating. So that's a great, fun thing.
Did you say Main Treats? or
Main Street,
Okay.
the coffee
Okay.
shop.
I'm sorry. Just wanted to verify. Thank you.
And then also wanted to mention St. Baldrick's is back again on March 14th at the Lions Field from 12 to 5. So if anyone's interested, I will not be shaving my head, but I will be there in support. If anybody else to join in. And then I took some time this evening to write down some of my thoughts, and so bear with me as I read this. I wanted to speak plainly tonight about the financial reality of our village, kind of a family meeting, if you will. Over the past 3 years, your council and I have worked diligently to put our house in order. After being awarded a $40,000 planning grant, we now have a much-needed comprehensive capital improvement plan. We've completed a full inventory of all village-owned assets, being our streets, buildings, equipment, utilities, infrastructure, and have created a structured, responsible plan for their care and maintenance. This tangible roadmap addresses our real documented needs. We then integrated our roadmap into a 5-year forecasted budget so we can best plan for the upkeep and care of our assets that serve each and every resident and business in Romeo. That is the good news. Now here's the hard truth. While building this responsible financial plan and roadmap, we've encountered a couple significant revenue challenges. First, during our most recent fire and ALS negotiation, our contract increased by $230,000 in 2025 alone, with a 6% increase each and every year thereafter. This is not a one-time spike, it is a compounding cost. And these costs are absorbed by our general fund. Let's call it our savings account, if you will. With no revenue source to offset it, this is akin to drawing from your savings account year after year while not being able to place enough savings back into that account to cover those losses. Second, we all know our largest manufacturing facility closed and has subsequently filed for a rescission of its eligible manufacturing personal property exemption, as well as adjustments to its personal property tax status. All of that to say, this combined impact with these changes resulted in about $200,000 annual loss to the village. Just like the fire contract increase, this loss is also being covered by our general fund, again, with nothing replacing that revenue. When we put this all together, the documented asset needs, our existing revenue structure, the projected expenses over the next 5 years, and then these substantial new financial losses, the outlook is grim. I did not ask you to elect me as your president with the intention of ignoring hard truths, and I will not sugarcoat this one. We are at a defining moment here in our village. We could continue to stretch our general fund thinner and thinner until services decline or need to be cut, and our infrastructure erodes and breaks. Or we could face this head-on, working together to build sustainable, impactful solutions. I am coming to you with tangible, factual documents. We have our almost 200-page CIP. I only printed off one because it's 200 pages, but there's one back there. If you want to come into the village, anybody listening, I can print one off. Better yet, email me, and we can send you a PDF. That'd probably be better, more financially responsible, as well as our Romeo Financial Outlook. That one I printed off a few more because that was a few less pages, but again, you can also email me for that. So you can see the hard truths of where we're at, of what I'm talking about, these tangible, factual documents. And the numbers are clear, and the forecasts are real, and the responsibility belongs to all of us. I'm asking you to please plug in. Attend the meetings. We had 0 attendance, other than the board members, at our pre-budget meetings here a couple weeks ago. That's the part that I did print off so everyone can see. Please engage in the discussion and seek to understand this data. Share ideas and support thoughtful solutions. Join myself and the council as we work together to ensure Romeo does not merely exist, but thrives. Our village is worth protecting, our services are worth sustaining, and our infrastructure is worth maintaining. The needs are significant, but so is the strength of our village. And I've said it many times, many different ways over these almost 10 years of service here at the village. I believe in this village, and I love this village. I believe in responsible governance, and most importantly, I believe that together we can meet this challenge. Again, I'm available to go over any of these needs that I just talked about. Reach out. I'm at the village at Extension 3. My email is president@villageofromeo.mi.gov. I can email you copies. I can sit down and have a meeting. But I'm not going to sit here at the helm without adequately getting out to the public where we're at right now. I told you I would come up with a plan, and we would forecast it, and now that we have, the honest truth is it's not great, and we need to work together to fix that. I will be sharing that online. I'm really hoping that people will start seeing the need and understanding what we're talking about here and joining in, because it's on our shoulders to make decisions, but it's also on everybody's shoulders as residents. Come to us, talk to us. Maybe you're not comfortable with me, maybe you're comfortable with somebody else. I don't care. Come talk to us and figure out what's going on and what you would and wouldn't like to see, because there's going to be some hard decisions if we don't make them now. They're not necessarily made for us, but they're made for us by how things will pan out. That is my report. Clerk Lucero?
So my report's going to be a little bit longer than normal, just because I had promised the council I would give you guys an update on the grant writer. So I asked her to provide an update, so I'm just gonna read some of her notes. Success Stone Strategies conducted a comprehensive review of the village's recent capital improvement plan to align priority recommendations with potential grantor agencies capable of funding improvements, drawing on the CIP and discussions within the village leadership, federal, state, and regional, county, and private funding sources that are currently available or anticipated within the next 6 to 12 months. And those were identified. This effort leveraged major grant databases, federal and state portals, regional planning bodies, grant maker networks, etc. Search parameters were defined by the village's priorities, ensuring that identified opportunities align with both immediate needs and long-term goals. These parameters included the following: roads, sidewalks, bike paths, parking lots, buildings, and the buildings include community center, DPW facility, village hall, stormwater systems, iron removal plant, wastewater treatment plant, enhancement and security equipment for the DDA, so on and so forth, police, parks, you guys get it. Opportunities with the strongest potential to advance the village's prioritized projects were identified based on a clear program alignment and strong eligibility. As each funding request is developed, the village will confirm its ability to meet all funder requirements and project scopes to produce well-defined requests, positioning each opportunity to be pursued strategically and competitively. Right now, in process, what's ready to go, meaning they have all of the documentation to move forward in the grant application. We have 2 that will support the DDA streetscape. That is going to be about $35,000 in total. Infrastructural priorities, it's going to be approximately about $800,000. Hometown grants, which is going to go back to DDA as well, $50,000. There's equipment for police departments, approximately $20,000. And then they have another number on deck. Those are all this quarter. Then we get into Q1 in 2026. And we have about another 6 or 7. So we're pushing on. The president and I, we meet with the grant writer twice a month to get updated, go over what we need, what they need from the village standpoint. There's some collaboration with other boards that are needed sometimes. Right now, we're trying to get the village certified as a certified local government, historical local government. That opens us up to a ton of infrastructural grants as well. So I can forward you guys a status update, monthly as we get them. But just wanted to go through that. Then for my clerk's report, grant funding, at the end of last year, I got just over $20,000 for the fiscal year 23 state and local cybersecurity grant program. To my surprise, they granted us even more, just shy of $62,000. So we're actually up over $80,000. These funds have to be used, and they'll be used to purchase critical components and upgrades for the village. I didn't start spending the 20 grand that we got just because we were in limbo of going to a different IT provider. So those funds, some of them go to them for training and for them to train us. But these funds will fund server upgrades, training for the village staff across all departments for cybersecurity, penetration assessments, multi-factor authentication, that sort of stuff. To touch on something that Trustee Parker touched on, zoning ordinance is almost completely reconciled. We had an issue where everything almost lined up except for the one book, but the main book, the Code of Ordinance, lined up with online except for the ZBA. Hunted it down. I think I spoke about it last month where there were some changes made. I think I found the meeting the changes were made, but of course Meeting minutes are sparse, and the recordings, talk to WBRW, they are on a server that they no longer have the technology to access those videos. So, unless anything jumps out at this point, the verbiage in the ZBA will revert to what the original ordinance was, since we don't have any amendments that were signed or affidavits that say that this was changed. So it has to go back to what was actually passed. That I've had exhaustive conversations with Mark. I know he's getting sick of hearing me call him about the same thing, but we're almost there. We're almost at the end. So the final uniform version of the zoning ordinance will be in the planning packets this Thursday when they go out. And then finally, it was brought to my attention, I looked over it, and there's no easy way of saying this. OMA violations are not something we want to get into within this village. I've seen a number of times where people text back and forth. That constitutes private conversations during OMA. At the last meeting, when we were talking about ComTech, there were multiple moments where there was a private conversation between someone in the audience and a trustee member where it was point A, B, and then they would redirect the questions. That is a violation. At the very least, it is a break in decorum. I do not revel in this. I don't want more scrutiny, but I am an automatic reporter. This issue has been passed on to the district attorney as well as the attorney general's office, because they are coming down on these, and it's better if we come out and say, hey, we think we found this, rather than they find it. So it's been referred to them in order for them to weigh in on. I will let you guys know as it progresses, but we cannot have cell phone conversations, texting, and private conversations during a meeting. It is a clear violation of the OMA. That is my report. Yeah.
Okay, to committee reports, anything for sewer?
No.
I would say no. For ethics, we did have a meeting. I do apologize. I completely, it was in my calendar, but I forgot, went bowling instead. I apologize. But Nolan, you did pass on the information. I have since passed it on to Mr. Clark. See if we can't get a little bit further and maybe have something at the table for March. And thank you, Nolan, for all of your work there. Into unfinished, we have our council purchasing policy draft update. So, I did notice that as I printed it off versus January, I left off the highlights. So I did bring what I had that has the highlights on it. So if you would go to page 2 is the first highlight. Officially is the language under 1 general, the last sentence. It is prohibited to divide a purchase to avoid the quotation process. That was the verbiage we spoke about. That is now added and you see it in real life. On the following page, under 5, the purchase is greater than 3 but less than 6. Let's see, about 1, 2, the third sentence down where you see the word departments obtain. The next few words, at least 3 comparable. That is the language that was added. You can kind of see it's a little grainy around it, so that was the highlighted spot. You see that now in real life, and then also similar down in 6, again, 3 comparable, at least 3 comparable. That is added in here in real life. And let's see. That was it. Those were the few additions to make this the final draft.
a couple of things that jumped out at me reading back through this again. Section 5, like you just noted, where we added the at least 3 comparable. I'm just trying to understand the language of it strongly recommended that departments obtain at least 3 comparable. Why is it not required? Because we do have the single source and we have other ways, if you can obtain 3, to provide the information. Why? So why isn't that just a requirement? Why is it just strongly recommended? That was my first concern. Number 7 talks about the purchases over 20,000. Should we include in that section also that it's supposed to be a sealed bid? Because if you go to the end, the last page, it does talk about purchases over 20 again, saying that it must be sealed. So it'd be 1, 2, what is page 4, under the quotation procedures, number 2. Second paragraph, a couple sentences, talk about the memo must include a summary of all quotations received. Would like us to receive all the quotations. I don't know if we need a summary, but we should have all the bids, I would assume. And then under that same section, it talks about the quotation evaluation section, but the only thing in there that's discussed is the purchases between 6 and 20,000, and it doesn't talk about any of the other purchases. So why are we just evaluating just the 6,000 to 20,000? So I guess it's, I don't have a rewrite or a solution to all these. It seems like it bounces all over the place. And like Clerk Lucero's pointed out several times, it's not how our ordinances contradict each other in different spots. And, you know, if we're talking about the purchase, in the second page, number 7 to 20,000, it doesn't say sealed, but then you go to the back, it says sealed. Well, which one are we following? So should it be consistent, I guess is my concern. Maybe should it be, I don't want to say scratched and rewritten completely,
Could you turn your mic on, please?
but,
It's not another course.
it is, it's on.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
No, by all
Just
means.
to
I
kind of
mean,
streamline it,
That's
right?
why,
Right.
many months ago, when I brought this here, I said, hey, please, let's make it so that there's not so much contradiction, and I was
Yeah.
told that it was very clear that there wasn't contradiction. By all means, rip it apart, put it back together, and bring it back to the table. I mean, we've done the edits, I feel like this is, are we on 2nd or 3rd? I don't know, I've lost track, so hey, I mean, You think there's
does it make-
something
does
there?
it- What I'm saying makes sense. I mean, it seems like it's still pretty choppy.
Yeah, no, I mean, everything you say, for the most part, is logical and makes sense. You know, maybe in future meetings, if we were just to sample rewrite a couple of those paragraphs and have them prepared, you know, we don't have to make this last 6, 7 meetings.
Yeah.
But, no, everything you said makes sense to me, at least. Strongly recommended, purchases over 20K, wanting to see all the documentation, not just a summary of the quotes. I agree with pretty much all of that.
oh, we've been at it since October, of which I've asked, hey, let's keep going. I mean, this is our document, it's a living document, it's not, when we're happy with it, we'll approve it.
If I could, the summary of quotations, I would like to speak as someone who just dealt with that. You know, when they come into like purchases, big RFPs or RFQs that go out,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at them first and making sure they meet all the qualifications. I see the benefit in the summary there because, and I don't disagree that you guys should probably see all of them, but I also want to make sure that you guys don't walk the fine line of, well, then we're just gonna consider these guys that don't meet qualifications versus these guys that possibly do, because at that point, then whatever we put in an RFP or an RFQ seemingly doesn't matter. You're just gonna pick and choose anyway. So I do see the benefit of that summary, although it's not necessarily in the framework of what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about what happened recently.
Yeah, I understand the need for the summary, right? Like you put on the spreadsheet, you know, these are the prices, these are the ones that met the quality.
Yeah, yeah.
I fully agree with having that, but I feel that we should receive the actual quotes also. So if we had, you know, if we're going through and looking at numbers, looking at this, and okay, we got our top 4 picked out, we can go back then and look at, you
Yeah,
know, those actual quotes.
it can be
So,
both.
you know,
This, the summary is useful to say, hey, just so you guys know,
Yeah.
A, B, and C don't meet the criteria, but here's still the quote in full.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying, is that
Yeah.
like the summary is there to kind of be
A tool.
a tool for you guys, yeah, to kind of sit there and say, oh, these guys don't meet the criteria, but you can kind of see what they're quoting and everything else. I don't disagree with that. I just want to make sure that we're not walking down the line
No,
of
just
considering
keep track
people
of it.
that don't meet the qualifications.
So, yeah, it's easy to say, include the quotes and a summary, because I think the summary is very beneficial, so it's the quotes and a summary.
I mean, if you wanna,
You wanna
if
fill
you
out
wanna
those
email me all of the edits
Or-
and all of your suggestions, we can put them in another working document to see them again next month.
Okay.
This is postponed for next month.
Do we wanna do a motion?
Motion needed.
You can do a motion to say
I'd
that you're
prefer, so
postponing
it's in the
it.
minutes as such, postpone until March with more edits.
Support.
Okay. Poznanski, second by Parker, to postpone until March with further edits.
Do you
Who's
have, like,
specifically,
this in a working Word document, if you'd email it, then we don't have to retype the whole thing?
Thank you.
Okay.
just to be clear, we're not tasking, but are we expecting that it's from maybe one of you guys? Or are we just expecting to see them from the clerk and president? I just want it to be clear for the record.
Well, no, I'm asking for
Yeah,
the
so,
edits.
I guess we should make sure we're on mic, so we're not OMA violations. Me and Shelley will, I'll send my stuff to Shelley, she'll put it into a workable document that Megan's gonna send to her.
Okay.
And she'll send it back to Megan, so if anyone else has concerns, I would email
Yep.
President Poznanski or
Much appreciated, thank you.
Trustee Ross Hall.
Okey-doke. Moving into our village and DD8.
We have a
Oh,
motion.
sorry. With that motion, do we have all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have none opposed. Our joint DDA and village garbage trail project. The next steps, the DDA's spoken about this, the next steps they're asking is that we decide what the partnership will look like moving forward. One of the thoughts is, would be looking to gain some kind of commitment from the Board of Trustees to move forward, and the DDA did give a couple suggestions. One would be that there is a shared cost of the conceptual design, such as a 50-50. And then the DDA would put up the other 50% of theirs towards the project build cost. And another suggestion was maybe the DDA funds the whole design cost. However, having a commitment signed by the Board of Trustees that they will be reimbursed if the project doesn't move forward within 12 months. We're just looking for some kind of concrete join-in from the village. If you have a different idea, that was just the couple that came from their board and their brainstorming.
Do we have a general idea of what the design costs
It's
might
here
ballpark?
in the, look towards the back. Page 22. 21,500. Of which you have the whole proposal from McKenna, the whole scope of everything that will be included, site evaluation assessment, conceptual designs and development, regulatory review and implementation, cost estimates and phasing strategy and presentation, and final design package. So with that in mind, thoughts, ideas, suggestions?
I guess I'll start off
Go
and
ahead.
be the bad guy here, right? I mean, based on the report you just gave, Megan, right, and our financials and where we're at, is this something we really want to get involved with right now at our level? Do we have the funds, you know, or are we just, like you said, picking away at our bank account, our savings account for something we're not?
Right, and that's totally, I appreciate that question, because I'm sure that is a general audience question. But when it comes to garbage, you see on your taxes a separate millage line item for garbage, of which can only go to garbage, and that line item has quite a bit of money sitting in it. So yes, there actually is money for, you wish you could move it all around and put it to the spots that are hemorrhaging, but you can't. But here is at least something we can actually be doing while our hands are tied, and the fund has money in it.
So where would the actual property owners come in on this? If there's an ordinance about trash and what they need to provide, would they then be a partner in this as well to address what they're supposed to be providing within the ordinances?
We haven't gotten that far. We're looking, everything takes steps and time. First, we have to figure out what is even the concept. Is it gonna be on village property? Is it gonna be on public or private property? Do we need to acquire it? What could this even look like? And that's where the initial conceptual designs come from. And then, once we understand what it is, we're all, okay, yes, we like this design, this will work, it could work. Now then we step into that next realm of, okay, now get the paperwork in order. How will this all go out? There's a lot of
How
working
much
parts.
excess money is in that fund?
Off the top of my head, I cannot tell you, but I know,
It's considerable. I
is.
can't pull it up right now, but it's considerable.
it's less than $1 million, but more than 500, somewhere in there.
Well,
This
so it's
was-
6 figures, you're saying?
Oh, yeah, it's an amount. So this kind of came about, remember back, I was in your seat, and we were talking about downtown garbage.
Yep.
So we kept the mills high and kept capturing money. And then upon coming in, and then we solidified that contract and said, no, we're not gonna do downtown garbage. We pulled that mill back down. But in the meantime, all that money had been being collected.
So we kind of have an obligation to use it.
We do.
Can we use it for things like electronic recycling for the residents, or paper shredding, or garbage
We can use it for
cans?
anything that has garbage. Like I've said before, I just bought extra garbage cans for downtown with it. When Peach Fest or Tilson Street, or even those extra garbage cans that I've now added, there's extra hours to garbage being pulled. All of that is now getting booked under that line item. It actually, no one had thought of that before. So it was being booked into other departments, and I was saying, if we can book garbage to garbage, why are we not billing these hours to that line item?
Makes sense.
Right?
So we were able to pull a little bit more, but again, there's only, so it has to stick to garbage, and that's where, this is a feasible project. This is something that I believe has been an ongoing issue here in the village since before I even lived here.
But have we addressed the property owners then? Because I feel like because we have this pot of money, it sounds like we're just gonna spend it on garbage like we have to, but we haven't really addressed, a lot of the garbage issue comes with the property owners not having the proper garbage receptacles or things in corrals and.
Well, I guess this is my thinking, is if we're going to address it, if the residents, fine, then we're gonna, or business owners rather, fine, then we do that. But then we don't do this, because why would we have them put money into fixing and complying, which we put the moratorium on, so remember, don't worry about that, and then turn around and build something for them?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
what
So
I
that's
thought.
why we put the moratorium on it, and now we're working on this. Because that would be redundant and unnecessary.
We did the moratorium because of garbage?
No, we did, we put on this ordinance. Has it been a couple months now?
Yeah, I can look back. But yeah, it's because it
Yeah,
was
'cause
such a
your point, it
widespread
wouldn't make any
problem.
sense.
Well, we just remove the moratorium and have them do what they need to do.
Right, we could, if that's the way we want to move forward, but we were moving in a way that we were going to address this, which means we're going to stop and try this avenue, see what it would look like, see if we could get it done. Otherwise, if we're not, then scrap the whole project and let's go make all the business owners make their garbage corrals appropriate.
I think it's more the property owner versus the business owner. Not all of the businesses own their own property, so.
No, I'm not disputing that, and I don't know all of their rental agreements.
Right,
Some of
Right.
them might have to be responsible, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know either, but I would rather start, first things first, let's make sure that what's supposed to be happening is happening. And then if we still see there's an issue or a need, then go from there. And in the meantime, yeah, I'd like to see an opportunity for some of this money to be spent on needs that the residents might have. Again, trash cans, recycling bins, electronic recycling, paper shredding. I think those are all, they're small, but they're good things to offer the residents. That they've paid their waste fees. Let's see if we can set some of those things up for them.
I mean, that's an idea.
But the downtown businesses have also been paying too, so it's their money too, as well as the residences.
Yeah, and they,
Who
part
paid-
of that is the trash pickup in
Yeah.
downtown and clean up the downtown, like she was saying, all that
They
money.
pay for their own pickup.
Well, no, the municipal pickup,
Yep.
with trash cans and waste, they come out of that fund.
Who paid for the, one of the Southwest
Again, before my time, but if, from a history that I've been told, I believe DDA,
Yeah.
that was part
That
of
was
a
part of the project.
blueprint
part of
project
the project?
a while
The
ago.
paving? I remember it happening, I just don't remember who paid for it.
I feel like between that, the DDA, I don't know if they got a grant back then, again, long before.
Yeah. That's it, yeah.
But the businesses did not pay for it, I don't believe.
Well, I mean, through the DDA.
Well, through the DDA,
Yeah,
yes,
I don't know.
you're right. But that means the DDA and the southeast quadrant, the northwest, east, and northwest, all paid
Right.
also into that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the southwest quadrant that hasn't gotten their streets fixed yet, have paid for everybody else's street to be fixed.
Well, not all the northwest yet. Prospect is still not done.
Same.
Right.
Yep, because they're gonna
Chandler.
come tear that stuff up, I'm just telling you.
Yep, I understand the reason why.
Yeah,
I just
same, everybody
don't
who
want-
doesn't.
Don't want it forgotten.
Nope.
I don't know, I think in light of your report, financially, we should.
But
I
what
know
I'm
it
saying
comes
is
out of
it's
garbage.
a
I
completely
know.
different line item, it's
I
not
know.
the general fund.
I think we should move forward with this. I think we need to make some progress here.
I'd like to at least see us move into getting this concept.
Yes,
I think it's feasible to do 50-50. I don't think we need to take on 100%. If the DDA is willing to work with us and do 50-50,
We got excess of 500,000
Yeah,
yes.
in that
The village,
fund.
I don't see why the village doesn't pay for the whole thing.
Well, I guess the argument there would be, what do we look at next? You know, is the industrial district come and start saying, hey, can you provide us dumpster corrals also?
Well, they pay nothing into it, so we have good
Are you
out
sure?
there, yes.
no, the whole village
The
pays the
whole
garbage
village pays
tax.
that, no. Yeah,
Including the industrial area?
You
yeah,
can't,
you can't separate.
you
Oh, yes.
can't just exempt certain people
Zones.
from.
Didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yep,
What I will say is that industrial, anytime a new business goes in there, their site plan review comes in, they have to have their dumpsters screened.
Behind the building,
Yeah, everything has to be behind the building, it has to be screened.
And those same ordinances apply, not same, but similar for the
Yeah.
DDA, so.
And it's not
But the problem is,
untypical.
we haven't enforced them for years in DDA. It's always been enforced on PEL. And I think that was the problem that President Boznansky brought up in December, is this has been a problem for multiple administrations. that it hasn't always been enforced here in the DDA, so.
Was it December? I know, we
Yeah, it
brought
was
pictures, we
December.
talked about it, we put,
Yeah.
I think we put a 6-month,
12,
Yeah.
12,
12-month.
to give us some time to see if this was even feasible and go forward.
Well, I guess I'd like to see something positive go through, so I guess I'd make a motion to join with the DDA and pay 50% of the, what is it, $21,500 total?
Support.
Okay, so I have a motion by Edwards, support by Care to pick the option of 50/50 in the design cost with the DDA. Do we have any more discussion?
Just to Shelley's point, I do think both things can be true. We still could explore some of those options, like you said, because if the money's in there and we're only chipping
Absolutely,
away at a
it's not
small
like we're
percent
even
of it,
using
those are all good ideas.
10%, we're not even using 5%.
Right.
And once we get these
Here,
design
so we
costs,
still
we're gonna
can't-
know, and then we can bid it out, we can see what real costs are. And there might be a lot left, and there might be actually a need for more. We won't know until
'Cause
we
those are
get this
good ideas.
concept
I'd
down
like electrical and all that.
Yeah.
and get it quoted.
Rather.
I did, like to Shelley's point too, I mean, some of this burden should be on the building owners or the property owners to maintain, you know, like I said, if we've been enforcing it in other areas, there's
Yeah,
no reason
but-
we can't start enforcing it. And to say there's not room, I mean, there's,
You do have to get things kickstarted, though.
yeah, so I'm
And-
not opposed to the Kickstarter like you're saying.
Yeah,
but if we
and this
could-
research might help identify a lot of those scenarios where we can say, hey, maybe we can separate that
Yeah,
from this project as a whole
Yep.
and tackle that one-on-one.
yeah. I do work in a lot of busy municipalities, and I've seen some pretty creative solutions by building owners where, like indoor, like it's part of their building, part of their structure, they've had to convert into the dumpster area.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Okay.
Or they could come together and several businesses could work
Yeah.
together.
and-
Well, and I know that
Property
they
owners.
do that over northeast, there's a bunch that go in on a dumpster, and, I mean, even the current one that's out there, a couple of them going on. Okay, if we're done with discussion, we had a motion by Edwards, support by Care, going in with 50/50. Clerk Lucero, could you call the roll?
Yes. Fowler?
Yes.
Rosso?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Care?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Bartholomew?
Yes.
President Poznanski?
Yes. Okay, moving into our fence application update. Last month we had this, but we only approved half of it. I believe we wanted to go back and talk about what we were charging, our fees, and if they were applicable. I know Sarah Korth in the office, she reached out to multiple different municipalities, asking what they did and how they've done it. She has a list here. Washington, Bruce, Armada, Rochester, Oakland, you can read them all. My bigger concern was, as much as I appreciate what everybody else says, what's our budget say? Are we covering our costs?
Exactly.
So I asked her, she pulled up the budget, and so you see line items there. We're pretty spot on. We're close. I'd even venture to say sometimes we might be a little under, but given the budget and what we see, we're not, the residents should not be absorbing the cost if somebody wants to pull a fence permit. That should be wholly on the resident that wants, or business, whoever, that is pulling that permit. So, from the budget and the things, I'd say ours are pretty spot on.
Can I point out something, typo, grammar pointer on the first page of the fencing permit application? Size of fence, please mark 1. We have under 48 and over 48. We need to include 48 at some point.
You say 48 and under, or 40?
Yeah, yeah. That's where it should probably be, it just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Equal to or over 48 or something
48,
like that.
48 and under, over 48. Yeah,
Easy.
yeah.
Good point.
Just
Yeah, that's a good point.
typo thing, not.
Yep. No, you're right.
Okay, well then, if we're fine with where they're at, I'm not sure that any action needs to be taken to reconfirm what we already have. If somebody wants to suggest something else, then we would need a motion. Okay, hearing no motion, we will keep our current fees and then our added generator discussion.
So I had a conversation with Chief. He put me in contact. The guy did reach out with me today. We had a conversation. The quote that was re-signed and approved, his explanation was that they had always originally did quote a single-phase generator, but they used a preset bid thing and someone didn't change it, as he explained it to me. There was some other concerns on there, which I pointed out to Chief, and I went over with him. He said he will be resending, because there was some issues on there where there was 2 different transfer switches quoted. There was no actual spec of a generator as far as a brand or a model. It just said a basic 40 kW. He did say he was gonna resend. He probably said he was gonna do it today, so we can just look at that. So the cost, when I originally saw a cost of whatever, 96,000 for a 3-phase generator, and then all of a sudden we get a quote for a single-phase generator, and it's the exact same dollar amount, it threw up some red flags. So that was my concern and why I asked for it to be put on, but I don't know, it was added, so we can't really make motion or do anything on it, but I don't know what the general consensus of the board would be, if we're just fine with it staying as is, being that it was a typo, or if we do or should look at this again and officially approve
Reopen it?
what's there. Because then he did point out that that was a initial quote, and there's gonna be a follow-up meeting, a site visit, where they're gonna come out and actually determine a lot more stuff where there could be some cost differences. He said they did briefly look at the gas service, but didn't determine pressures and flows and what regulators would be needed, and what size, and if the service itself would be sufficient to support a 40 kW generator. So
So they just gave you a.
they gave us a number that
Without including anything else that goes along with it.
there could be some, as he pointed out, but we would know that prior to final, I guess. I guess this is just a preliminary
But that,
approval.
but that kind of leaves us open. I mean, he can put any numbers he wants into the afterwards. I mean, oh, this is gonna be done, this is gonna be done. I mean, it could add up to a whole lot of money.
It's, the main,
I mean,
the only main thing that it did sound like was kind of up in the air was gonna be the gas service, which, depending on if we do need a gas meter, could have some cost to it. I can't see it being astronomical, and then whatever regulators needed for pressure, whatever type of pressure we have servicing that meter.
So do we have a boiler, do we have a specification of which they are bidding on now? Or just the information
Well,
that
they're-
you guys went over with that we're looking?
Based on the information we were given at the last meeting, there is no quote-unquote bidding happening anymore. We were told that
Well, it was a
we have
grant,
to go with FEMA,
and when
or
we
through
pulled,
FEMA, we have to do that.
Chief pulled the 3 quotes or whatever for the grant, that was one of them.
We
Yeah.
have to go with FEMA?
Yeah, it's a FEMA grant, and the
No, you
grantor.
don't, you
well,
could, you
yeah.
could say you don't want the free
No,
money.
FEMA says we have to go with
FEMA said
McAllister.
we
Yeah.
have to go with the
So-
or the company?
So the grant decides who they're willing to fund, and if you're not willing to accept the grant, then
Some
you're
grants are
gonna be
more
on it.
liberal than
Is that the
others,
only
this one is
company
not.
that the grant had put out there?
That's the only company that they accepted.
Off the bids that we received.
And our bid didn't specifically specify what we were looking for, it was just like open.
Yeah, we did not have a spec.
And I would also like to mention, guys, this was over a year-long process with
2
Chief,
years.
or 2 years. And if we pull all data, there is a good chance they will push you back down to the end of the line. And I'm not saying that to say don't do your due diligence, but at the end of the day, there is a lot of effort going in on this, and if it's a matter of, well, it might be a little bit extra here or there,
It's still less than 100 grand that we would fully be responsible
We're watching
for.
our money right now, right?
Right, and that's exactly what we're doing here, is right now, we're getting free $73,000 for free.
I mean,
If we say no, we're gonna pony up for the whole price.
Mr. Parker is a licensed electrician, and he knows what's going on, so I think that his due diligence in checking into this. Thank you.
I appreciate that too, and we're working that way to
Yeah,
say that
after
we
the
don't want the
discrepancies
grant
were-
all of a sudden.
Were figured out, you know, talking with Ed, I believe his name was today, from McAllister. Michigan Cat is now McAllister.
Yes, and
I'm
everything's being taken
comfortable.
care of.
I'm comfortable, I just don't know if we need to re-look at that officially, because the quotation
Are there
and
any
the
more
verbiage
hidden-
was
hidden
incorrect.
numbers?
That's my only concern, is if we need to make that official or not. I am comfortable, I'm comfortable with, after talking with the gentleman
Just
and the
letting him correct
process.
it?
Well, the motion at the last meeting, that's why I didn't put it on, because within the minutes, our motion, oh goodness,
Was
hold
to
on.
approve a three-phase if it was,
Blah, blah, blah. To move forward with bid from MyCat pending verification of proper specs by the village engineer, and we're doing that. So to me, that motion was appropriate and it's been followed.
There's no
Okay.
three phase.
We approved to move forward with bid from MyCat pending verification to proper specs. We are doing that. That was the motion.
I'd also be remiss if I didn't, I guess, speak on Ed's behalf a little bit here. This was a dollar amount that was bid on almost 2 years ago. Each year, that piece of equipment goes up about 12%. They're sticking by that original quote, and they're eating the costs of the increased price of the equipment, so.
yeah, like I said, I'm comfortable with it myself.
Right,
Okay.
and we've done, the engineers have
I,
come out, we've gone back to CAT, we've had the requote, I sent it all to you.
The
Feel
only
that we're-
other concern, which I did address with him, he said he would look into, was setbacks. Because a lot of the newer ones, natural gas, exhaust, the current generator sits about 18 inches from an
Say a
operable
couple
window. And typically, the setback is a minimum of 5 feet from an operable window, especially in some type of office area. So that was a concern, so I don't know if that's something that needs to be looked
Get
at.
rid of the
Also
window.
is glass block, exactly. May have to put a glass
Whatever
I mean,
Whatever's
that,
the-
that,
that
that
best-
window is
Something
in a
that's
closet
not-
that's literally 18 inches.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
Whatever
something
is
that's
the
not
best
operable,
solution.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's make it happen.
Okay, moving into our new business, we have our annual municipal analytics, annual Waterworth subscription. It has not changed since last year, it's $5,250.
And we just have the one bid, or is it just an invoice?
This is who we've worked with every year, this is just that you wanted to go out for bid for a whole new company to rework it.
Did we get bids on this in the past?
It was with Christine, it's
Yeah,
been a while.
I do remember we did bid it out, and they were still good,
If that's something we want to do, I'm open to that moving forward, but sitting where we are with budget and rates coming up, that was something that we would have needed decided before.
so is there,
Well, do they do anything that our engineering company can't do, or?
Well, he takes all of the information, which is quite a bit of different things, and given the needs from the CIP, the needs, remember, we just approved some bond money, and works it into the rates and what
Okay,
the needs for take the two different water systems and the single sewer system. There's actually quite a bit that goes into.
there's actually quite a bit, it's probably,
having a single source quotation in front of us?
There's a lot of
Okay.
that goes in. Again, this was quoted out a
Okay.
long time ago. This has been our user. If we wanted to go out and find somebody else,
so do you need a motion to move forward here?
yes, to approve this cost.
I'll make a motion to approve the I guess it's an invoice for $5,250 to Municipal Analytics.
Support, if we can add, will not exceed the 8250 that's also written in there.
Oh, so that it doesn't exceed, will not exceed
Right.
$8,250.
It includes the water and sewer service area, the renewal of the subscription, rate consulting hours to be billed at $165 an hour, not to exceed $8,250, and I feel like we didn't come close last year, but I'd have to verify that. I know in the past we were at 10, so we even pulled it down from there.
Gotta slip it in.
Once you start working with the single company, and they have when we started, we needed more hours because we didn't have as much information, and now that we've had multiple years, and we have our projects and all of our information in the system, it's less hours between us to get the output.
Is this something we can look at bidding for a multiple-year contract in the future?
If that's what the board would like to do.
Might not be a bad idea.
Okay, do we have any more? I have motion by Edwards, support by Parker. Any more discussion? Hearing none, could you please call the roll?
Parker?
Yes.
Rosso?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Bartholomew?
Yes.
Care?
Yes.
Poznanski?
Yes. I'll ask Clerk Lucero to sometime soon start getting a RFP together, a bid package. Technically have a year, but I would still pay attention to it.
Okay.
Moving on to our proposed PILOP ordinance update. I think the most important sentence is, where's the word? That the payment in lieu of parking, the use of a payment in lieu of parking for residential uses permitted in the CBD is hereby prohibited. The rest of this is information.
Yeah, so it did go before planning, they had a public hearing,
I moved stuff around.
and that was the proposed change, was to prohibit the PILOP use for residential in the CBD.
Do we have a motion?
I guess I'll make a motion to approve the draft ordinance on the PILOP to the presented, as shown in the presented draft.
Support?
Who? Rosso?
Rosso. Motion by Edwards, support by Rosso, accepting the draft with the amendment C, payment in lieu of parking is prohibited in CBD. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I think you just clarified, just to make sure this is an amendment to the ordinance, this isn't a whole ordinance.
Oh, okay.
Correct. An ordinance to amend ordinance number,
42.
we are adding this in there. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. Okay, we have proposed meeting dates. I asked them to send us 4 with an optional 4th, just in case. How did everybody feel? Did you check your calendars?
Yeah.
There was no way of getting anything started sooner, so I feel like waiting until June is always,
I just asked them to send me 4 available dates, and this is what they sent. If we would like something sooner, I can even ask, April 28th
Tuesday.
is a Tuesday,
Yep.
May 19th is a
Tuesday.
Tuesday, and then
Tuesday.
following Tuesday.
Tuesday.
The 26th is the day after Memorial Day.
Well, that just would be fun, wouldn't it?
I can only do one of the three, but that doesn't.
What
mean-
one can you even do?
I can do April 28th.
Okay.
And I agree, maybe if they could give us another day to start sooner,
Like a March date?
yeah.
I can ask, maybe not the 26th. Yeah, we can go back. Do we want to at least approve? Do we want to wait?
So last year was all in April, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
April
we're
and
just kind of
early May.
trying to get ahead of the ball this year, especially considering we have our bargaining. So just trying to leave us more time for discussion and not having to call a bunch of extras at the end.
Yeah, if we could look at getting one in March and then maybe even adding an additional in April. We do have the joint DDA, right? And is that the 13th?
Yeah,
of
March
April?
25th.
That's March.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of their
The
open
13th.
house.
Yeah, no, the April 13th, we have the DDA joint meeting.
I can ask.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But April 28th for sure, we're gonna count on.
Well, let's kind of, yeah, I will keep that one on here and ask them for something in March and another in April,
Perfect.
which it might be quick then. I mean, realistically, our meeting's on the 16th of March. I guess we could still fit one in there. And somewhere before April. Okay, I will bring that back.
Not the 17th.
You said 428 stays.
Yes. Okay, we have a couple resolutions here. Resolution 26-013. I'm not reading all of this, so it's 2.5 pages. I'm not gonna bore everybody with it, but basically this is a resolution imposing a temporary 12-month moratorium, well, unless you want me to, on the establishment, permitting, consideration, approval, construction, and/or installation of data centers within the Village of Romeo.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay.
This is the-
we
this
accept
piece stricken.
As I say, there is one point I do want to point out, but, okay, go ahead. I had a motion by Care, or Paul? Pick somebody.
I second.
Okay. A motion by Parker, support by Fowler. Okay, the one spot I did want to point out, I've had some communications with different industrial district users. And in seeing this, their concern is that, well, some of the properties are large, and some of the properties, just in and of themselves, already do use a lot of water, or already do use a lot of electricity, not even being a data center. And so their concern is, are they gonna be bootstrapped to not be able to develop or sell or do certain things because of this moratorium? I was very clear that if they watched and paid attention, we made a direct correlation to our intention. And nowhere in here have we stated that allowable uses are included in that. So I just wanted to make a statement that current uses that are allowed within our zoning ordinance will continue to be allowed. Did I understand what our intention with this resolution and what we're doing?
Nope,
Okay.
you got it right.
Also, number 5, it was the advice of council that number 5 be stricken, because if you guys are just gonna grant a waiver, then there's no meat to this. That didn't make its way in, the packets had already been sent out at that point, but,
As I say, the village council may, in its discretion, grant a written waiver from the provisions of this moratorium in extraordinary circumstances upon finding that, 1, the proposal would not adversely affect the public health, safety, and welfare, and 2, the applicant has demonstrated that there would be no material impact on village infrastructure, utilities, or neighboring uses, and 3, granting the waiver would be consistent with the public interests. Any request for waiver shall be submitted in writing and will be scheduled for consideration in a public meeting of the village council or a designated committee.
So you're saying to remove that?
Yeah,
I think
because,
that kind of answers the concerns of the other.
but this is in terms of the overall moratorium on data centers. And if you're saying, we're doing a moratorium, but we're willing to just turn a blind eye, that was something that Mark and I spoke about, and I don't know, Mr. Clerk, if you want to expand on that.
I just think it's contradictory. You could have the exception swallow the whole. If it's the moratorium is necessary for the reasons you stated previously, and when I say you, I mean the entire board, stated earlier previously in the resolution, then it's almost like a special land use cutout. And if you want a moratorium, I would adopt the moratorium. And I would, if that's the case, I would then recommend deleting paragraph number 5 and renumbering those that follow after. Or if you say, no, we don't need a moratorium, we'll just soldier on, well, that's fine too. But I just don't think paragraph 5 fits neatly and nicely into a moratorium.
And I do appreciate number 8, where it says, during the moratorium period, the village may withhold any permits, approvals, or authorizations for the establishment of or expansion of data centers. So I feel like the people that are seeking clarification, that once we approve this, it gives them that. And I wanted to make the statement of anything approved in the zoning ordinance is approved and can continue.
Who
So
made the
we want-
motion on this?
Yeah, so
Do we
the
want to
motion that was-
adjust the motion with the striking of
Paragraph
5?
5?
That would be you.
Yeah.
Do you
That
still
makes
support,
sense.
sir?
Yes.
Okay, do we have any further discussion?
So we will get a copy of the rewrite of this tonight.
I can send it out. I have the master
All right.
right here. The rewrite is already on here, like I said, it didn't,
Just to make sure 5 isn't.
yeah, the rewrite's already on my system.
Okay, can you please call the roll?
Yeah. Fowler?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Care?
Yes.
Bartholomew?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Rosso?
Yes.
President Poznanski?
Yes. Moving on to our resolution 26-014. This is a resolution empowering the street administrator of the Village of Romeo the authority to sign the Macomb County Department of Roads blanket permit for general road maintenance. This is something the county asks for us to do in order to work within their right-of-ways at times, and that we have the authority. They're giving us a permit to do it. We have the street administrator in here, as that can change from time to time, depending on, this is I believe a 5-year permit? Or is
Yeah.
that's how we apply it?
It's 5 years.
So in that time, we could have a different, so instead of putting a specific name, we have the designation, which is generally the president.
Motion to approve resolution 26-014.
Support?
We have a motion by Parker, support by Edwards. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have any opposed? Okay, we have one last public comment. Yes, we do.
Hi, Marty.
Do I need to turn on
Hi,
my timer?
everybody. Marty Hutnick, Four Corners Diner. So Sunday before last, I had an incident at the restaurant, and I would just like to reach out and sincerely thank the Romeo police officers who responded so quickly to an incident inside the business. A gentleman appeared to be under the influence and was causing disorderly conduct inside to the point where customers were becoming involved, and we had a packed house. The police arrived in under 2 minutes, and their prompt response helped de-escalate the situation and to restore safety. So I truly appreciate your professionalism and quick action. So, thank you.
Yes, I got quite the earful from my dishwasher when he got home that
I do have one thing I want to put on the record. Do you want me to go up there? It's actually, I forgot it in my clerk's report. If you guys are okay with me just saying it real quick.
I think you gotta go up to the podium.
public comment.
Oh, okay.
Put him on the time clock.
Yeah, no, I'll be less than 30 seconds. I just wanted to Also remind folks that I will be out of town, as well as the building department will be shut down from March 8th, which is a Sunday evening, through Friday the 13th for educational purposes. So if anybody needs to pull permits, get them in before. We can, anything that's in process, we can still process them while we are away at this educational conference.
But I'm not allowed to help doing permits at the front desk, just to be honest, because I don't do them every day, so.
Yeah, she does BSNA, it's gonna, yeah. So I just wanted to, just to let everybody know that March 8th through the 13th, we won't be accepting new permits. So get them in the week before, the week after, and that's it. That's all I had. I forgot to.
Not accepting or just not processing?
Just anything that's already in the system, we can still process here and there remotely, but we're not gonna be able to accept it just because we can't put it in, like Megan said, she's not, as versed, actually, nobody other than me, Sarah, and occasionally, Rebecca really kinda have a handle on that, and I don't even have a full handle on the building, BSNA. So, anything that's in there currently, she can take calls, and if it's a scheduling issue, cool, she can look at your file. But, there's no way right now of us taking in. Now, going down the line further, we're trying to move towards more, hands-free stuff online with BSNA. So going forward, this hopefully isn't a problem, but right now, we just won't be able to take permits for that week, just because no one's gonna be there to process them in real time.
Can we just make sure we get it online,
Yeah.
website, whatever, everywhere we can? 'Cause
Yeah.
I know sometimes it's frustrating when you drive an hour or two into a municipality to pull a permit, and you're like, oh, well, you can't bring it in this week, turn around
Yeah.
and come back next week.
I have all the notices that'll go up on the front windows, and then, to be posted online and everything
So
else.
is the office, are you saying the office is closed that week?
No, the office isn't closed. I mean, you can still come in, to
Okay,
deal
just
with
want to
the.
clarify.
Yeah.
That's good,
You
like,
might wanna put it on the website too.
I mean, Megan will still be there to answer all your questions.
come on in.
And Caroline will be there to handle anything from the treasurer's office, just, we will be, if you need to talk to me, I'll be available by phone, same with Sarah, but we just won't be on site while we're away at this, educational conference.
Okay, with that, we're in end our public comment. I have a motion by Fowler,
Support.
support by Parker at that's not the time, 8:43. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?